Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Lenard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. Welcome back to the Real Estate Roundtable, where we bring you the best minds in the industry to help you level up your real estate game. Today's guest is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to social media marketing for real estate professionals. She's the founder of Porchlight, a platform dedicated to helping agents grow their presence and generate leads throughout strategic, eye-catching content. With a deep understanding of how to optimize profiles, attract followers, and turn engagement into real business, she's here to drop some serious knowledge bombs. Please welcome to the show, Tracy Henning. Welcome, Tracy.
Hello. Thank you so much. That was quite the introduction. I feel like, I feel pumped up right now.
Every hero has a journey, and Tracy is one that so many real estate agents can relate to, struggling with social media, trying to stand out, and then discover the secrets to making it work. The challenge, Tracy, take us back to the beginning. What was the moment when you realized that social media could be a game changer for real estate agents? Did you have an aha moment where everything clicked?
Yeah. So I'm going to take you way back because I originally got into this business, believe it or not, 30 years ago is when I started real estate. And somebody said to me one day, they're like, when I was doing a webinar, they're like, how can you have been in the business for the past 30 years? You have no gray hair. And I'm like, I got a good hairdresser. I'm like, don't you worry. So anyways, been in it for 30 years. So I've seen all kinds of markets, good markets, bad markets, everything in between. And during my journey, I've done it all. I've been the number one agent in our office. I sat on a real estate board for 10 years. I was youngest ever female president of that board. So I've kind of done it all. So I would get people coming to my office on a regular basis saying like, can you give me some tips? Can you help me? And I'm more than happy to share my tips and help people. That's not a problem. But the aha moment, and it's funny, you remember these instances. I was actually in a Starbucks with a girlfriend of mine who's not in real estate. She's just a friend of mine. And we were just talking about marketing and all of those things. And I'm like, this is what I want to do, but there's nothing out there. Like, I can't see anything like what I would like to have in my business. So then I just created it. That's when I started Porchlight. We've been in it for about 6 years now. And I just created a platform where people can come and get the information that I was sharing with other agents in my office, because I thought, if there's more than one person coming up to me, there's got to be multiple people that are asking those same questions. And if you've been in the industry any amount of time, real estate agents keep their marketing close to their heart. It's tough to get, to go into your office and ask for help. And, a lot of times those top agents, they don't want to give up their, secrets, so to speak. So I'm an open book. I don't care because like I say, I've been in the business for 30 years. There is enough business out there for everybody. So why not help each other? So that's kind of how, I created Porchlight and how we're here today. Fast forward to today.
That's awesome. I mean, just a thought to help other agents, in this selfless manner is great. It's great, the transformation once you cracked code. How did your strategies evolve? Can you walk us through the biggest shifts you made that turned social media into a lead generation machine?
Yeah. Oh God, you don't want to see what we did back in the day. I look at some of that stuff and I'm like, oh my goodness. So, social media is all about testing. So, we are constantly testing our content, what resonates with people. People that are using social media know that social media changes like at a fast pace. So, it's our job to keep up with those trends and pass them on to our members. So, it was just a lot of testing with seeing what lands with people. Definitely what's trending right now is local content and personal branding. So, people basically, what I mean by that is featuring your local area, but not just like going around and saying, hey, here's the latest, subdivision that's coming up in such and such an area. Talk about the local coffee shop in that area. Talk about the dog park that is also in that area. So, delivering local content, people love to consume that. So, when people are consuming that, it means there's more eyeballs on your business. And then the part about personal branding is people want to get to know you as an agent. So, showing the behind scenes of what you do, whether it's like being at a home inspection. We actually had a member who did a video of this that just totally blew up. She was at a home inspection, and the home inspector had this like motorized, almost like remote control car that went underneath her particular listing to do, a bit of the dirty work and get into those places that he couldn't get into. Well, it was so fascinating. She took a small clip of that, and people were just glued to that because, and that's, I always say that's why HGTV is so popular. People want to know the behind the scenes because people want to work with people that they can trust, that they are relatable, and they want to get to know this, do their research before they even call you, because people do not go to Google anymore to search for a real estate agent. If you get a referral from somebody, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to go to your social media channels and check out what kind of agent am I going to be dealing with before I pick up the phone and call you and say, I'd like to use your services. So, showcasing your personal brand on social media, whether it's behind the scenes, what you do on the weekends, sharing a client story, the journey that people can expect when working with you, has been definitely the game changer when it comes to getting more eyeballs on your business.
That's great tips. Those are great tips. Guys, build your brand. That's what it's not just you. I mean, everybody, Ricky and all the big guys out there. I think Brian Sherent started a branding agency just for that,
Yep.
so that is the key in today's market is your brand, like who you are, your online presence. And I mean, unless you've been in the business for 30 years like yourself, but and you already have a book of business, to relate to and call and or whatever, follow up with them and ask for new business. If you're new in the business or you're, within the last 10 years in the business, I'd say just heavy on that social media stuff. I
Yeah.
totally agree with you on that. I do it myself, so I know that it does good returns. I might not be doing it as horn in as you do, but I do
Yeah.
it.
Well, you have to be able to stand out from other agents in the room. I mean, the unfortunately, our industry, their agents are a dime a dozen. There are so many, especially when the market picks up. All of a sudden, everybody wants to sell real estate. So you have to be able to, showcase your unique self and what you can provide to your buyers and sellers. And it's the equivalent, like I always tell people, it's the same as when you're in an open house. You host an open house, you have people come in, you start that conversation, and maybe by the end of it, those people, those potential buyers are like, they felt that connection and they're like, hey, can you show me, another house next weekend? And you develop that relationship and they become your clients. It's exactly the same way as social media. It just feels, sometimes it feels different because you're talking to a camera, you're talking to your phone, you don't have that other person in front of you, but the result is exactly the same. You're trying to convey that, same messaging and stuff like that. It's just through a different channel,
For
if that
sure,
makes
for
sense.
sure. So the transformation, once you cracked the code, how did your strategies evolve? Can you walk us through? You just talked about this? The
Yeah.
success now, you're helping real estate agents across the industry level up their social media presence. What are some of the biggest wins you've seen from agents who implement your strategies?
So this is probably the one of the biggest ones that we get, and specifically one agent in particular, she actually wasn't too long ago that she got a listing, and it was because of the stuff that she was posting on social media. So do not doubt that people aren't watching you because they're watching you. She got a phone call one day and said, Debbie, I totally forgot that you were in real estate until I saw the stuff that you were posting on social media. Do you want to come over and list my house? And she got the listing. And it was because she was visible in front of her friends and her sphere of influence. So making sure, because back in the day, I would go to listings, I'd be showing the houses, and I'm like, oh, nice house, nice house. I'm like, hey, I know these people. Wait a minute, I know these people. Why didn't they list with me? Well, that's my own fault because I wasn't getting in front of them enough. Now, social media makes that so simple for people to do. So, the number one tip that I can give to people is get consistent. Now, consistency doesn't mean posting 7 days a week, and the content is what you're posting also has to be relevant. So, the consistency is if you feel that you can only handle posting twice a week, 3 times a week, that's okay. That's not a problem. You'll build off of that. It's just the consistency of so people can know what to expect from you. Once you get into a groove, once you start posting consistently, you can build off of that. So that's the number one thing is to get yourself consistent, get yourself visible, whether like it's through sharing value or doing a video, and then just build off of that. But the number one mistake that I see agents doing is they're selling all the time on social media. And what I mean by selling is they're doing nothing but posting just listed, just sold. I won this award. Here's a testimonial. Now, there is a time and place for that. But when somebody comes to their page, they don't want to be sold to. They want to know what value are you going to bring to me? So instead of posting a just listed, why don't you post the 3 top questions to ask your home inspector? That's something of value that people are going to want to know. So when you get the right mix of content and the consistency, it's going to make a huge difference. You're going to get more eyeballs on your accounts, which means, more opportunity to do business.
Don't be a secret agent.
No, exactly.
That was like one of the number one things I learned in my first broker was don't be a secret agent. Just because
Yeah.
you got your license, because I was new, so just because you got your license, nobody knows that you're an agent. So you got to start. Back then, it was call everybody in your phone and tell them
Yep.
that you're an agent. Now
Yep.
it's start posting that you're an agent and start posting relevant information for the people so they know that you're still in the game and you're actively doing it. So let's
Yep.
go to some of the pitfalls. What are the top mistakes you see real estate agents make on a social media, basis, and how can they fix them?
Sure. So the number one thing that I just talked about before was just selling too much. You go to your feed, that's all you see is just listed, just sold, all of that stuff. The other thing that's important is setting your pages and your profile up properly. So a lot of times I will, we do what's called Instagram audits within our membership. So we'll go and we'll look at different agents' pages and profiles. And the number one thing that they're missing is when you're on Instagram, you actually have two names. You have a username, which is your at, like for us, it's at Porchlight. Then you have another name that's in bold just below that called your name, essentially. Now, that is searchable. You can actually search on Instagram by using keywords. So the number one thing that I need you to do is put the area that you service. So when buyers are hopping on Instagram and they're searching for houses in, Daytona area, you will come up, your account will come up because the keyword Daytona is in your name. So making sure that you are localizing your bio as well as on Facebook and stuff too. So when people come to those, come to your profile, you're set up properly. The other thing that they can do is tagging the location of your brokerage or the office that you work out of in your bio as well. So again, these are all things that can become searchable. So having a profile and your bio set up properly, having a, I'm just going to go through my mental checklist here of things that we look for. Having a, like there's three posts at the top of your page that you can pin to the top. So we want to do a post about who you are. Do you have 12 cats? Do you like candy? Whatever the case may be, let people know a little bit about yourself and then pin it at the top of your Instagram profile. And how you do that is you just click, once you post it, you click the three dots on the post and it'll say pin to the top. So then that way, when people come to your pages and profiles, and you could do the same thing on Facebook, is then they get to know a little bit about you. Now, if you have something to give people in, like say it's a lead magnet, a guide of some sort, you might want to pin that to the top too. Maybe you have some sort of resource on your website, so showcasing that, pinning it to the top. And then finally, the third pin that you can do is something of value. So like I mentioned before, the top 3 questions to ask your home inspector, pinning that at the top. So making sure your bio is localized, it's got lots of keywords everywhere, because when it comes to social media SEO, so to speak, you want to make sure that you're using those keywords that can be found when people are searching online. And then of course having those pinned posts at the top, so when people come to your profiles, they can get to know you a little bit more. So hopefully
Awesome.
I can give you a little bit of a visual without, being on
I got
Instagram.
it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I pin stuff there all the time. I usually pin videos of nice houses that I'm selling at the moment.
Yeah.
But
And if you're not sure, take your best performing post or video and pin that to the top. And also, you can also do this with reels too. So if you're posting reels, you can also pin reels, because if somebody comes to your account or comes across a video and they stay on it long enough, Instagram will show your next pin video in their feed. So you can do it for your profile, for your images, but you can also do it in the reels section too.
it's awesome. So how can agents turn social media followers into serious leads without feeling salesy or pushy?
You want to have something, and I just touched on it briefly, is you want to have like a lead magnet of some sort. So this is some sort of helpful guide or a checklist that they can get from you. So whether it's, I don't know, like the top 3 renovations to do when you go to sell your house, whatever the name of your guide is, you want to have it set up so when people come to those areas, they can get a copy of it. But in order to get a copy of it, they have to opt in. So you have to have a opt-in page attached to it. We actually, in our membership, we have what's called lead builder campaigns. So we provide all of this from top to bottom. We show you how to connect everything. So, and the reason why you want to have people opt in, you don't want to just give that that guide away for free, because we want to start collecting email addresses. So in order to get a copy of that, they need to give you their email address, which you can then pop into your CRM or your database. And you can, the way we set it up, at the end of it, it'll be all automated. So you don't, once you set it up once, you don't have to worry about it. So then you're collecting leads while you're out doing something else. And obviously, the more leads that you get into your database, the greater chance you have of, turning those leads into buyers and sellers. But the number one thing that you need to have in order to do that is a lead magnet or a checklist or a guide, or maybe it's a video series. Like if you do videos, it could be a video series, it could be a webinar. There's so many different things that you can like have as your lead magnet, so to speak. It doesn't necessarily have to be a PDF, but a PDF is like the easiest to create.
That's awesome. That I didn't even think about that, but I have a book that I wrote for real estate. It's right here behind me, for sellers. It's basically a guide for them how to prepare their homes for the market. And I have it on my website, and I think we set it up with a lead capture, but I'm not exactly sure. I have to check that out now because it's free. You can download it free, a copy of it if you want. It's about a
You
50-page.
definitely, yeah, you definitely want to make sure that it's hooked up to some sort of opt-in, because that's the whole point, is you want to, like, you'll build value with that PDF. But if people want a copy of it, and then that way, when people opt in, you legally have their permission to then, send them a follow-up email series. You want to make sure that when you have this all set up, that all the pieces are together. So at the top, you got to have a lead magnet that goes into your database, and you want to have like a email drip series that nurtures them over time. Then eventually they go into your big bucket, where maybe you send newsletters out monthly. So you're always constantly nurturing and getting in front of them. So when they are ready, you're going to be top of mind, and you're going to be the person that they're going to call when they're ready to buy or sell. And that's one of the tips that I always give our members. At like December, January is the perfect time to do it. Go through your websites, check all the links to make sure that things are working properly. They're connected to lead capture forms, that the links aren't broken, because a lot of times, the companies that you're using behind the scenes may do an update. So through no fault of your own, all of a sudden that link's broken. So you have a visitor come to your website or come to your bio, and they go to click something, it's not working. Well, they're going to bounce and go to the next agent that they found online. So a little bit of housekeeping you can do every like 3 to 6 months at minimum, once a year, going through those pages, profiles, websites, to make sure that those links are working properly.
So next question is authenticity vs professionalism. What's the best way for agents to stay authentic while maintaining a professional image online? That's a
Yeah.
really good question, because always, like, posting videos of your kids, of your dogs and stuff like that, great. But how far can you go with that? Is it like, hey, we're having a pool party, or my birthday party, everybody got dressed up in the 70s outfits? And, what is that limit where you'll say, okay, he's still a professional, but he can have fun too, kind of deal.
Yeah. And we encourage that. Honestly, like 80% of the agents out there are too professional on their social media. So letting down those walls, there's nothing wrong with, if you have a 70s pool party, showcasing that sort of thing. And if you're worried about it, put it up in your stories. They last 24 hours. They're not up there forever, as opposed to posting about it or putting in your reel. But you definitely want to showcase. There's nothing wrong with showcasing your family. Probably the general rule of thumb is, if you're talking to somebody about it at the grocery store, telling them what's happening, it's okay to post about it on social media, as long as you're doing it in a tasteful way. Like, we don't want girls gone wild or anything like that at your 70s pool party. But if you've got some, fun costumes and stuff like that that you want to showcase or whatever the case may be, that's okay. That's totally fine. And again, it's giving people that sneak peek, behind the scenes as to what you do, like what you do for fun. Maybe you'll relate to somebody that's like, hey, he's got a pool, I got a pool, he knows about pools, so let's use him. You don't know where that connection will come,
That's
when
cool.
somebody sees, the stuff online. I would say general rule of thumb, like, I mean, 50-50, 60-40, of the stuff that you're posting authentically versus like the professional stuff where, you might be hosting an open house. Yeah, it's okay to do 50-50.
So definitely have some personal content in there, guys. That is the key to for people to relate to you. That
Relate
is,
to and build that trust with
yeah.
people.
If they see who you are in real life, it's easier for them to choose you down the line. Because otherwise, they just see a salesperson.
Yeah, and people want to do business with people that they trust. And unfortunately, sometimes in our industry, where we just naturally are in an industry where we're constantly defending what we do for a living. So if you can build that trust ahead of time, like, people want to do business with people they trust.
Yeah. So profile optimization. What are the must-have elements of high converting real estate social media profile? The must-have elements. We touched on the pins. We touched on make sure you highlight your area. Is there anything else that you could share with us that you'd like to see in a profile or would be really useful in a profile? And
Yeah.
do they have to be
So
on every single product like TikTok and Insta
yeah.
and Facebook and LinkedIn and all the other stuff,
Yeah. So I'll definitely talk about those two things. So we'll finish up what to have on your profile. Again, letting people know a little bit about you. I mean, you're limited to the amount of characters that you can put on, or you can't write a big long novel. You have to do short bullet points. But if you're a dog lover, put that on there. If you have 4 boys, you could put mom boy or boy mom or whatever. So like myself personally, like I love Starbucks tea lattes. So I have that on my profile. I let people know like I am a Starbucks lover, and oh, now
You
I've
guys
just
have
lost
that other shop up there where you are. What's the name of it? Henry's or my
Tim
wife was like,
Hortons.
yeah. It's like Starbucks, but the Canadian version of it.
Yeah,
And she
yeah,
was like, "Oh, we gotta go there. We gotta go there." When we were up in Vancouver a couple years ago, that
yeah.
was surprised you're not in love with that. You like Starbucks. I mean,
There
it's
is a there is a fine line between you. There are loyal Starbucks people and there are loyal Tim Hortons people, and the two of them clash.
all the
Tim
time.
Hortons, they do not like Starbucks coffee, and the Starbucks people don't like the Tim Hortons coffee. So there's definitely like two defined groups of people, but Tim Hortons has amazing donuts.
There you go.
So going back to your
Yeah.
question about like what platforms should they be on? Do not be everywhere. I tell people that all the time. You do not have to be everywhere. As real estate agents, I don't know, it's just in us to have FOMO. We see somebody like maybe killing it on YouTube, and then all of a sudden we panic going, oh my God, I gotta be on YouTube. And somebody might be crushing it on TikTok with shorter videos. And they're like, now they're stressed because they're like, oh my God, I gotta do TikTok. No, you don't. Pick 1 or 2 platforms that you are comfortable with, build off of that, and then you can add to it, because people are they're going to flush you out really quick when they go to like a YouTube. Say, for instance, you started a YouTube channel, but yet you haven't uploaded a video in over a month. People are going to go to there and they're going to go, is Tracy even still in business? She hasn't uploaded anything. So do not spread yourself out, and start with 1 or 2 platforms and get really good at them, and then build off of it. But the number one thing that you want to do is, and this is why it's important to either choose a niche or know who you want to work with. You want to go where those buyers and sellers are. So if you want to work with first-time home buyers, millennials, you better be on TikTok. But if you want to work with maybe veterans, retirees, you might want to be on Facebook. And Instagram is the most diverse platform. That's our number one recommendation, is to make sure that you do have an Instagram account set up, because there's everybody from millennials to my 80-plus-year-old mother is actually on Instagram. She sends me reels all the time. It's just like, oh my goodness. And then the other thing too about Instagram is it's a very visual platform. You can do carousel posts, which is perfect for real estate, to showcase your listings and stuff like that. But do not stress about being on all the platforms. We had a member, he was on 8 different platforms, and I was like, no, there is no way. You can't do that. You can't maintain those
Sounds like me.
platforms and do it well. And people are going to know that when they go to those platforms, because they're going to go, there's nothing new here. So is he in business or is he not? So get really good at 1 or 2 platforms, build off of that, but primarily go where your audience hangs out, who you want to work with, go there. That's a good sort of rule of thumb.
That's a really good rule of thumb. I was thinking about that. Actually, I was going to do it as a backup question, the age group stuff, on this one. But yeah, definitely find out who your avatar is and aim it towards them. That's
Yep.
and I just learned about this avatar thing about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I went to Tony Robbins, 2023 January, and he was like, define your avatar. Who do you like to work with? And then try to figure out where they would hang out online or in person, and aim your marketing towards that. And that way you will always get people that you want to work with
Yes.
instead of all the other random
House.
people that you might not want to work with, you know?
Yep. We,
So
there used to be I mean, there probably still is a saying in the industry, you are who you work with. So usually the people that you hang out with is the people that you tend to work with, because those are your people, so to speak. So it's the same with social media. So if you want to reach those people that, you would like to work with, you need to, like you say, you need to go to those places where they hang out. But more importantly, you need to be posting content that they are interested in. We can fall into such an easy trap of posting content that we think is great, or maybe we bought a cool template package off of Etsy that looks pretty and we want our feed to look pretty. Doesn't necessarily give value. And people, yeah, they'll come to your feed and they'll go, oh, well, that looks pretty, but there's really no substance here. So making sure that you have a strategy in place when, knowing what to post and where to post it is equally as important as having pretty templates.
definitely, definitely. So many agents struggle with posting consistently. It's time management. It's just hard to keep up with everything. You're wearing a million hats. You're the CEO, you're the CFO, you're all that stuff. So it's just really time consuming. What's your advice for staying on top of social media without it taking over your whole life?
Well, other than becoming a member of ours, because we do all of it for you, um, probably like batch creating. So, or, setting aside like a few minutes a day dedicated to social media. I had a member came up to me one time, or who became a member. She was in my office and she said to me, she's like, Tracy, I was a teacher. I know nothing about marketing. Like, how do I do this? Like, where do I even start? So short of, like I say, joining the membership that we have where we set everything up for you, dedicating like 20 minutes a day, maybe an hour a day, to coming up with a plan You can start batch creating. So if you're going to do videos, like say you're going to do videos, set aside maybe 2 hours of the day to shoot those videos, whether it's just you holding out your phone and, giving some tips, whatever the case may be, do that one day. Then the next day, edit those videos. Make sure that, you don't see your hand going to the like record button. You want to cut that down so then you can edit them. And then that way, when you're batch creating, you're doing things in certain like time chunks, it makes it more manageable. And if you haven't accomplished what you wanted to do in that time period, that's okay. Stop, move on to your next task, whether it's, stuffing envelopes or whatever you have on your agenda. And then the next day, come back to social media, pick up where you left off. The more consistent that you can get with it, the quicker it's going to the quicker it's going to be over time.
Practice makes perfect kind of thing.
Yes. And you know what? It's just progress over perfection. Talking about being perfect, it's just doing something consistently. It's like brushing our teeth. We think nothing of brushing our teeth every day, but we have to take the time to pick up the toothbrush, put our toothpaste on, brush, brush, brush. Then we carry on with our day. It's the same thing as social media. It's like, building up that muscle. Once you get started, it just gets easier and easier, but you have to start. So starting by time blocking, batch creating your materials, whether it's videos or if you're going to create your own templates using, say, Canva or something like that, just blocking off that time and just doing it, but doing it in a manageable time period. Don't feel that like, oh, today's the day that I'm feeling good, I'm going to record a video. You record videos and then they sit there and collect digital dust, because the next day you should be editing them because you've worked that into your schedule. Sorry, I can get super passionate about this.
Love it.
I hope I'm not preaching too far.
How about Social House? Okay. How does it help agents simplify and scale their social media marketing?
Yeah, so Agent Social House it's basically it's exactly that. It's like a house filled with all the social media content and marketing materials that you need. So what we've done is we have done all of the heavy lifting for you. So we have social media templates, but we don't just have like templates, we have an actual strategy. So we have things for you to do on a daily basis. We have things for you to do on a weekly basis. We have Zoom calls. So it's a combination of social media content, coaching, accountability, community. We just had a call yesterday. We did what's a monthly Canva workshop session. And it was amazing. The sharing that people do, that the agents do with each other, saying, hey, this really worked for me for renters. And then we had another agent saying, oh, that's fantastic. Can I borrow that idea? Of course you can. So we basically do all the heavy lifting. Everything's done for you. Those lead magnets that I've talked about, we have professional copywriters. Our graphic designers work with Canva. They're Canva certified. And we put this all together for you so you can just, come in, take what you need to use for your real estate business. But then if you need that accountability, you need a little bit of that coaching, we have that as well too. So we kind of have everything all wrapped up in a nice little bow.
That is awesome. Guys, don't hesitate, get in contact with Tracy and her team on this. It will help your business for 2025 pick up like crazy.
And we want to make it as easy as possible for you. Like if I'm already doing it once, why am I not sharing it with everybody? So that's kind of like how we started this, is like I say, by having those conversations with people in the office, like, help me, like, where do I go? Where do I get started? What do I do first? So, yeah, we definitely have like the strategy as well too that goes behind it.
Do you guys use any AI?
We do. Yes,
Ah,
we do. We've got two AIs in our platform. We have one that's called Lumi, and she is amazing.
is it from Sintra? Lumi.
No,
No.
no, Lumi AI is our AI tool. So if like here's an example that I use. If you have like a terrible time like I did writing listing descriptions, I'm the worst. I'm not good at it, especially when you have a terrible listing and you need to make it sound good. You can put keywords, like a limited amount of keywords into it. You do not have to have a prompt like you do with ChatGPT. You just put it's 6 bedrooms, it's got 3 bathrooms, it has a pool, fenced yard, hit enter, and it'll spit out an amazing listing description. So that's just one of the things that it can do. It can also craft emails, like it can localize our captions, because we do provide captions for you. So if you want to like localize it to your area. And then we have another AI tool. If you have questions about anything, like what's a lead magnet, you just type it into this tool and it takes all of our content. Like we have hours and hours and hours of training, of video training that you have access to. So you can like spend weekends binge watching all of our training. And so it takes the content from all of our training and it sums it up into manageable, answers, so to speak. So, or what can I do to get more visibility on my Instagram page? It'll give you the answer in like 30 seconds. So,
He
yeah.
watches it instead of you, he watches it for you, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, can you tell me what they did on Get It Done Day? Or, can you tell me about what I should do about X, Y, and Z? So it's not just taking generic content like ChatGPT kind of from all different places. It's taking the content that we have within the membership and collecting it all and then giving the appropriate answer.
Awesome.
That's just one of the things that you can do with
It's
it.
cool perks, to have, knowing that you're already working with something that modern as AI is. So
Yeah.
social media is always evolving. No, I mean it's
Yes.
changing. We're having TikTok, we're not having TikTok, with TikTok,
Yeah.
cap, cut. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? So what trends do you see shaping the way real estate agents market themselves in the next year?
Probably, again, going back to that, personal branding, localized content, um, being on video is huge. But if you're not comfortable on video, what is really big right now is doing B-roll videos. So what the heck's B-roll? So B-roll video is video of, it can be anything, honestly, anything. So it could be you filling up a pot of water in your kitchen. And what you're going to do is you're going to upload that video. And then instead of you talking, you're simply going to put your points that you want to get across through text over top. So B-roll video, which I think will continue to, gain momentum, is super popular right now because it gives people the ability where they want to effectively use the reach that video gives you, but they're not necessarily comfortable being on video. So we have a ton of B-roll templates, or Reels templates as we call them, where it could be like a shot of walking through a living room. But then we're talking about top 3, things to, I always go back to top 3 questions to ask your home inspector, or whatever, points that you want to get across. You lay over top of your video and then you post that. So definitely video is going to be huge in 2025. It continues to be. And original content, like original content. So, and even like you walking through the kitchen, that's considered original content. So that's definitely going to be big for 2025.
Wow, Tracy. This has been an incredible conversation filled with actionable insights that any real estate agent can apply today. If you're ready to take your social media game to the next level, make sure to check out Porchlight at porchlight.com and dive into the Agent Social House with an A program at porchlight.com/agent social house, HAUS /. And don't forget to follow Tracy and Porchlight on social media for daily tips and inspiration. Instagram is at Porchlight. Facebook business page is Porchlight for the Modern Realtor. Free Facebook group at Canva made easy for your real estate business, and LinkedIn at Porchlight. Thank you so much for joining us, Tracy. To our listeners, if you loved this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow real estate professional. Until next time, keep building, keep growing, and keep making moves in your market. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.